blah. So get out there and enjoy the good weather, man. I went bike riding this weekend, so
Yeah, I'm not much of a bike guy.
come on, man. Let's get out there on the trails, man.
But nonetheless, we are off and rolling today here on a Monday. I hope everyone, again, had a great weekend, whether it was out on the golf course, spending time with friends and family, enjoying a beverage. Let's get going, shall we? A lot going on in the world of sports, of course, and that's why every Monday we kind of like to hit the ground running with what we like to call a little bit of just, headline or clickbait. So we'll go ahead and we'll put a little music in the background. So headline or clickbait as we get underway, Kev, here on a Monday as we kick things off. Don't worry, we're going to get into the Reds. All right, we're going to get into the Reds. Getting swept by the Brewers, coming out losers of 4 straight. They got a big series with the Giants coming up here in just a little bit that we'll get to coming up here in a bit. Nick Kirby from Chatterbox Sports, he's going to hang out with us here in about 45 minutes. Excited to chat with him. But headline or clickbait, that's how we kick off the show today, Kev. Let's talk about those Cincinnati Bengals, shall we? The Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Mixon agreed upon a restructure. And again, the Bengals running back Joe Mixon finalized a restructured contract that will keep him in Cincinnati for this upcoming season, which is good because camp is getting underway here, this week, next week, whatever. So that's a good thing. But Mixon was due $10 million this upcoming season with a $12 million cap number. The new deal frees up cash and cap for Cincinnati, and Mixon stays as the team's RB1. This is from Tom Pelissero that came out just a few days ago. Now, Ian Rappaport tweeted out more details. Joe Mixon took a $4.3 million pay cut this year, Kev, and a $4 million pay cut for next season. The 2023 base is $5 million, and he can make an extra $2 million per year in incentive. This opens up the possibility of him sticking around, not just for this upcoming season, but next year as well. Is this a headline, clickbait, news, not news? What say you?
Headline, big headline, because you look at some of the other running backs out there on the free agent market or haven't signed their tenders for their contracts, like Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, Zeke, Fournette. Those dudes, only guy that's getting phone calls is Dalvin Cook. Those other guys not getting phone calls, man. Zeke's not banging. He's banging on other people's doors. Nobody's calling him. Nobody's calling Leonard Fournette. So for him to restructure his deal to be with a team that he wants to be with, obviously he's taking a pay cut, but he gets to stick with an organization that he knows, and he knows them very well, and they know him very well, and it frees up cap space for the team that has a quarterback that they need to sign.
I think this is it's obviously a headline because this was a big question mark for the Bengals heading into this offseason, was what they were going to do about the Joe Mixon contract. I have no clue why, with all the smack talk that Bengals fans have given the Browns about the questionable human beings on their roster, why this guy continues just to get a pass after pass. I mean, let's keep in mind, there was one situation that was overblown. It was about the incident that happened on his property. I have no problem with blowing that off, saying that's nothing, but there are still charges. There are still things that are pending right now. So I do find that interesting that we just act like that doesn't happen. However, this is a big deal. Look, I think Joe Mixon agreed to this pay cut because, for one, I think in his head, okay, if he doesn't agree to it and they just let him go, he can go make that money elsewhere. He's looking around the NFL. Good running back. Zeke Elliott, I know everyone looks at last year. He didn't crack 1,000 yards, but his yards per carry and everything, he's still a productive running back in the NFL. Zeke most likely will end up back with the Dallas Cowboys from what I've read today.
Wow.
But he's not going to get the money that he was envisioning heading into this upcoming offseason. Joe Mixon's like thinking, $5 million a year at running back right now with how devalued that position is. I think that's a win for me at this point. So it's a win for the Bengals because they have a legitimate running back. I know he kind of regressed last year. We'll see what kind of steps he takes forward this upcoming year. But Bengals fans, we're live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, live on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Is this a headline? Is this clickbait? What is this? Is this a big deal? Do you like this move? Do you not like this move? Joe Mixon, your running back in 2023.
It's one of those very rare times that it kind of makes sense for everybody.
Yep.
In sports, it's always like, all right, who got the short end of the stick? Who got over on who? This seems like a pretty fair deal for Joe Mixon, and he gets to stay with the team that he wants to be with. So I think this is a fair deal, and it works out for both parties.
Kenner and Cap, 1410 Wing AM. All right, Cap or no, not Cap or no Cap.
That's Friday, man.
Yeah, it's Friday. I got my mind on Friday. It just made tea time for Friday. No,
he's thinking about Friday on a Monday.
We'll stick with the
I don't blame you.
Yeah, no kidding. We'll stick in the NFL, Kev. Another big NFL headline that happened over the weekend. The Tennessee Titans They finalized a deal with wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. It's a 2-year deal that could be worth up to $15 million in the first year. The deal, which is expected to be completed over the next couple of days, will give Hopkins a base salary of $12 million in the first season and could reach up to $15 million, as we talked about, with incentives. Now, there was obviously many suitors out there. The Patriots was a team that was interested. He had been linked to teams like Cleveland due to his relationship with Deshaun Watson and their time in Houston. Obviously, Kansas City was being brought up, and he was keeping an eye on them, but their cap situation's a little iffy, as is Buffalo. But Buffalo, Kansas City were brought up, as was the Cleveland Browns. But ultimately, money wins. He goes to the Titans. Headline or clickbait, is this news or not news in your eyes?
It's news because of the teams that he didn't go to. He could have went to the Cleveland Browns, and I think that would have pushed the Cleveland Browns over the top to really make a run for the Super Bowl this year. Obviously, landing with Kansas City. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league. You landed with him. That makes them even better than what they were, the Super Bowl champs. You talk about Buffalo, but you talked about it. Those teams had money issues.
Yep.
And when you're still a high quality receiver, you still want to get paid what you're due. You're not one of these guys trying to latch on just to win the championship. You want to win a Super Bowl, but you still want to be paid a fair price. And when you see OBJ go out and make $15 million in 1 year, it's not like he's going to all right, fine, go ahead and sign me for the league minimum. I'm going to go ahead and take one for the team. I think sometimes as fans, we want our best players out there to play for the love of the game and take a price cut. Yeah, you're going to take a price cut because he did take a price cut, but that big of a price cut, I don't think he was willing to do that for teams like the Patriots and things like that. I would thought if he was going to take a big price cut, it would have been for the Cleveland Browns, but I guess not.
So it's a headline because he's a big name wide receiver, but I'm going to lean towards, I'm going to say this is not clickbait, but I don't think it's as big a news as if he goes to Kansas City. This is headline news. This is a big deal. If he goes to Buffalo with Josh Allen, that's a big deal. I think he goes to Cleveland with Watson. That's a big deal, but he's going to a team that I don't know what DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know what he does for Tennessee. They're better because of him. They take a step forward because of him. You have Derrick Henry, but it all comes down to, especially in the AFC, who's your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, no matter what skill position players you have, Ryan Tannehill's still your quarterback. You're going to fight against Joe Burrow. You're going to fight Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen with him. To me, I don't think this makes them a favorite for anything. Maybe they compete for the division a little bit more now because of it, but overall, I don't think it sways the power in the AFC by any means. So that's why I'm like,
Fair.
I don't think this is as big a deal as what some people are making it. But had he gone to Kansas City, had Cleveland found a way to nab him, had he found a way to get to Buffalo, I think that's a huge, because then that's where you're talking about taking Buffalo and putting him over Cincinnati at that point if they get DeAndre Hopkins. It's Kansas City, Cincinnati at this point. Kansas City gets him. Now it's like the gap between them and Cincinnati gets even wider. So that's where I'm at with that as far as that goes.
Were you surprised that the Cowboys weren't mentioned as much as we thought they were?
Actually, yes, I am. Now that you mention it, they weren't. Yeah, there was no
because we had them very high when he first got released, but they never
Giants
got mentioned.
I was like, keep an eye on the NFC East. I give the AFC North a lot of credit. The Bengals are making, like, the Browns are aggressive because of what you see in Cincinnati. The Steelers, the Ravens especially, are aggressive. Like, the NFC East sees the power that is Philadelphia, and Cowboys are moving on from players. The Giants are overpaying quarterbacks, and they're about to overpay a running back potentially. While everyone else is saying no to paying their running back, they're about to get a deal done with Saquon, which isn't the end of the world, but we'll talk about that more in a bit. But I am surprised that no one in the NFC was as aggressive going after him as what some of the AFC teams were, that's for sure. Tennessee doesn't make any sense to me either. Like, they seem like a rebuilding team, but they're signing old receivers and stuff. It just doesn't make any sense, but we'll nonetheless. Kenner and Cab 1410 Wing AM, by the way. We're live on the Justin Kenner Show Facebook page. Ron Howard, he goes, driving back from Charlotte. Have a good show. Go Clowns.
What up, Charlotte?
Ron? Yep. So,
you ever been to Charlotte?
No. I have
Good
not.
times. Good times.
Chad Kinser, he chimes in. What up, Chad? He goes, Tannehill won't finish the year. Williams will be starting by week 8.
I guess he thinks basically means Malik Willis when he said Williams.
I was going to say, do you mean what? Yeah, Malik Willis, but the Titans also making a splash on the second round of the draft, this second day of the draft, too, in the second round. So
Will Levis.
And Will Levis. So they have options.
They have a lot of options. I will say this about the Titans, and it made me think about it when I was watching Quarterback on Netflix.
You started that then.
Yeah, I finally started it. Re-upped with Netflix, all because of that show. But anyway, it just made me think, like, man, the Titans not too long ago were the number 1 seed in the AFC, and then last year they were one play away from winning their division and going to the playoffs. So this league is very tight, man. You know, these games that come down to the fourth quarter truly are about what quarterbacks' decisions make and turning the ball over or interceptions or scoring those last-minute drives, man. This league can go one way or the other very quickly.
All right, next up, a little association for you,
Uh-oh.
Joel Embiid was on a panel being interviewed, and he was talking about, his vision of wanting to win an NBA championship. Now, every NBA player wants to win an NBA championship, but he had this to say that kind of stirred the pot a bit. I just want to win a championship, whatever it takes. Now, that sounds great. We all want our star players to have that mindset. I don't know where that's going to be.
Ooh.
Whether it's in Philly or somewhere else, it's not easy, but every single day I work towards it.
Ooh.
Headline of Clickbait.
That is a massive headline. Normally, when players are asked that question, man, I'm trying to do everything I can to bring a championship to fill in the blank city. Like, that's like the standard answer that they all give, because like that's what they want to do. They want to bring a championship to that city because that's the team that they're currently playing for. For him to use the caveat, he says is not sure if it's going to be in Philly or not. That is, get me help or I'm leaving. Get me help or I'm going to the Knicks. Get me help or I'm going to the Lakers. Get me help or I'm going to somewhere else not named Philadelphia. So Philly, you better do something.
Yeah, it's headline because anytime a face of the franchise player is making those kind of comments, obviously, especially in the NBA. I think,
league MVP.
NBA media and fans are the most sensitive fans. I don't mean that in a bad way, but like anytime a star player says, I mean, look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. You have Donovan Mitchell, who throws out a first pitch at a Mets game, and everyone's like, oh, he's leaving. He's going to New York.
Well, he's from New York.
That happens in the NFL at times when that happens. Like fan bases aren't as sensitive or insecure about that type of stuff. So this is a major deal because of that. So it will be interesting to see what happens. Let's stay in the NBA. Clickbait, headline or clickbait, news or not news. LeBron James will change his uniform from number 6 to number 23 this upcoming season out of respect for Bill Russell. Headline or clickbait. All right, that's it. Kidder and Kev, leave my guy alone, Kev. Leave him alone.
It's not even.
You know what those shades are? They're hater shades. That's exactly what those are.
You know what? Do we have something in between headline and clickbait? Because I don't want to sound like a hater, because I understand what he's trying to do. Like, hey, man, they're retiring Bill Russell's number across the association. I don't want to be the guy still wearing it. I want to pay respect to Bill Russell. But like LeBron just always seems to have a way of like, hey, remember me? Don't forget about me. I'm LeBron. Don't forget about me. Like, it just seems to be that all the time. I mean, we didn't really talk about it on the ESPYs or whatever, but like the whole, I'm going to retire. I'm not going to retire. I'm coming back. Like, it just seems to me like, oh, man, as soon as we're like, all right, we're moving on to a different subject in the association or the NFL, LeBron always, hey, don't forget about me. Let me say something. Let me do something. Make sure people talk about me one more time.
Why you keep changing the rule of the bell? That's the problem I have with you right now. That's the I make fun of 40-year-olds bell. That's the excuse bell, and now that's the what bell? Like when you're really feeling like something, you like hit that bell.
The attention bell. That's what it is. I just get that feeling sometimes like, man, LeBron, man, you don't have to do this, man. You don't have to do it. Dude, we know how great of a basketball player you are. You don't have to keep on waving the flag and say, hey, remember me. Don't forget about me. We remember you, man. You're great.
Well, so the reason, look, I'm going to give LeBron props on this. And here's why. What do we love about MJ? He's a great businessman, right? What do you think this is? It's good business. Let's get them Laker number 23 jerseys up again. Let's stay in the top 10 of most popular jerseys. Let me continue getting more money for selling those jerseys.
I ain't mad at somebody getting that money. I ain't mad at somebody. LeBron. You know what the Lakers really need to do that will really boost the sales of Laker jerseys?
Trade Anthony Davis.
No. Oh, okay. Go back to the gold jerseys. Whatever. This is people that are watching.
With you. Highlighter yellow.
Yeah. This is the color of the Lakers jersey. This is not the Lakers color jersey. Stop it.
Same thing with the Celtics court. It's that highlighter green color. Like, what are we doing?
No.
It's not the Celtics color. It's just Celtics green. Like, yeah. I don't know what we
and I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy like, oh man, the back in the day was the best way, the only way. But look, man, the color of the jersey should be the color of the jersey. It should be purple and gold. It's not even really, it's like royal purple. Whatever this is,
Barney purple.
this is not gold. This is highlighter. If you want to have highlighter jerseys, fine. But can we please get the real color of the Lakers jersey? And I don't even like the Lakers. I've hated the Lakers since Magic Johnson. I do not like the Lakers. But if you're going to have a Lakers jersey, this ain't it.
All right, last one up. Headline or clickbait?
Clickbait.
News, not news. The Cincinnati Reds are getting swept by the Brewers. Coming out of the All-Star break, they have decided to call up one of their top prospects, Christian Edwin Encarnacion-Strand. Not Edwin Encarnacion-Strand. My apologies. Christian Encarnacion-Strand. He makes his debut tonight in Game 1 as the Reds take on the Giants in a very important matchup as the Reds try to stop the bleeding. They were a game up with the Brewers, first place in the NL Central. They're now 2 games back in the division, 2 games back in the wild card. They make this huge announcement yesterday that they're calling him up. They made it official earlier this afternoon. Headline clickbait, Christian Encarnacion-Strand, a Cincinnati Red, finally.
Headline. You know why it's a headline? Because I don't have to hear you talk about it anymore. That's why it's a headline.
Until certain 40-year-olds in that lineup hitting 227 or whatever it is right now. Hey, it's better than that 147 it was. I mean, just saying. But this is a big deal. The Reds have done a very good job throughout the season of when things start to feel like they're getting away from them, when they're starting to slump, and the season seems like it's getting away. They've made some major call-ups. Think back to the Reds were 27-33. They had lost a game to the Marlins. They had lost the last game against the Marlins. It felt like they had a chance to sweep them and really take some momentum into that Dodgers series, into the next series. I'm sorry. And they call up Matt McClain. Okay, they have Matt McClain, and that kind of sparks some energy into the team. All right. Then next up, Elly De La Cruz. He gets called up right after they dropped 3 of 4 against the Brewers. It's flat. They dropped an opportunity. Battle of first place at home. They dropped 3 of 4, and then they bring up Encarnacion. I'm all over the place. Then they bring up Elly De La Cruz, and then of course we know the run that they go on, losing 3 straight games. They're holding on for dear life right now. I think this is the perfect time to call him up. I think this now, what it does for the morale of the team, they forget about being swept by the Brewers. The fans forget about being swept by the Brewers. They see the Giants coming in. They see Encarnacion-Strand in the lineup, and now all focus is on that. And if they get a win tonight, we kind of forget about what happened over the last couple of days. But this is a big deal, and that's what we're going to talk about on the other side. Reds fans, let's chat a little bit, shall we? The Reds get swept coming out of the All-Star break. Who's to blame? What's going on? Why is this happening? Things were going so well. I said get us through April. Well, they got us through July at least. Can they get us through a little more? Let's talk about it. Kenner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM. See a lot of good stuff coming in on the chat section. I see Chad Kinser, Steve Stetler, Matt on YouTube. What up, man? Keith Tolliver. Even David Shaw is chiming in.
What up, Shaw?
A lot of good stuff coming up. We'll get to all your responses. Give us a call, 518-1410, 518-1410. Kenner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Forecast calling for a chance of thunderstorms and 62 tonight. Mostly sunny, 84 Tuesday. And Wednesday showers are likely a high of 84. I'm Rich Rep for 1410 ESPN Radio.
We're changing the game. Help your bets stay hot this summer at Superbook Sports, the most trusted name in sports gambling with a direct line to Las Vegas. And now, when you use the promo code ColumbusFan, you score up to $250 with that first bet bonus. Win or lose, Superbook will match your first bet up to $250 with the promo code ColumbusFan. Download the Superbook Sports app, enter the promo code ColumbusFan. You're going to get $250 courtesy of Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff and store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I'm looking for fuel injector cleaner.
Right now, buy a bottle of Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner and get one free, only at AutoZone.
Will it also help with my mileage?
Get everything you need to restore your performance in MPGs.
Get in zone.
Wait, is it good for trucks too?
Whatever vehicle you have, you can find the right products and parts at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Research shows people remember ads with wacky sound effects. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes and saves you hundreds on home insurance, here's something zany.
Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. To reiterate, these sounds are just to help you remember how much you'll save. Oh, come on.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Jason Aldean. Highway Desperado Tour 2023. This Friday, Riverbend Music Center.
And that's what tequila does.
With Mitchell Tenpenny.
You're strong, me, can't get over.
And Corey Kent. Jason Aldean. Presented by Wolf Moon Bourbon. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Summer rib season is back, baby, at Frickers. Join us for the perfect pairing of frickin' chicken chunks and baby back ribs together all summer long for only $14.99. Bring the whole family as kids 10 and under eat free from the kids menu all day, every day. Spend time with the family. Enjoy frickin' chicken chunks and baby back ribs all summer long for only $14.99. And kids 10 and under eat free only at the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Okay, so website's done.
Okay, great. But now we need to optimize it.
Optimize?
The build it and they will come mindset doesn't really work here.
So what do we need to do?
There's SEO, paid search, social media, text and mobile marketing, and...
Yeah, we're gonna need some help.
There's SEO, SEM, targeted display, location targeting, social media advertising, OTT, and CTV. We have expertise that will get your business noticed, allowing you to focus more on your business. Go to alphadigitaldayton.com. That's alphadigitaldayton.com. Or call 937-519-0035.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Festivals are back in Columbus. There's an event for everyone and every interest. Explore the complete list now at experiencecolumbus.com/festivals.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Yo, Biff, this one still needs to be vacuumed.
The service at Chuck's car detailing business is spotless, but new word of mouth recommendations leave him short of hands.
They don't have an appointment? Just get him in line behind the pickup truck. I'll stay for another couple hours and get it done tonight.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kenner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM, live on 1410 Wing AM, streaming live at wingam.com. Plus, you could watch us live on the Justin Kenner Show Facebook page, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. We're even live on the ESPN Dayton Twitter account, so go and check that out. If you could watch the show, hang out with us. 518-1410, 518-1410, that's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. So, look, let's see. Continuing, so on the Facebook page. So Matt chimes in on YouTube. He goes, talking about Strand. He's starting at a DH tonight. I will have the Reds lineup coming up for you again. Dayton's radio, home of the Reds and Giants coming up here later on tonight. The debut of Christian Encarnacion-Strand. You have no idea how many times I keep calling the dude Edwin Encarnacion. It's just it's a mistake, and I get that, but it'll take a bit. But just Strand. I'm just going to call him Strand. How about that? But again, the Reds and the Giants tonight, coming out of the All-Star break, there was a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement, and right now there's a lot of anxiousness. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of doubt trickling in, and I don't blame Reds fans for being a little uncomfortable with this. Look, when the Reds dropped 2 or 3 against the Brewers heading into the All-Star break, I said that was a problem. I said, however, they can fix that problem because at that point they were 2-5. They could fix that problem coming out of the All-Star break with the Brewers at home, a 1-game lead in the NL Central, take 2 or 3, and then you're rolling, right? You take that momentum. You got a lot of important series coming up. You have the Giants for 4 at home. And then right after that, of course, you have, continue that stretch over on the West, except they're coming here, Arizona. All right. And when you look at the record of these teams right now, as we've talked about in the past, how important these series were coming out, the Giants 52-41. They're a game and a half back of the Dodgers in the West. The Diamondbacks 2 games back, 52-42. Giants, Diamondbacks, all ahead of the Reds in the wild card standings as well. The Reds 2 games back in the Central, 2 games back in the NL wild card, and they play all of these teams that are right above them here to close out the month of July. This is a very important month of the season. Coming out of the All-Star break, losing that last game where you're getting shut out, and then to get shut out in the next 2 games right after that. I mean, the Reds, we keep talking about, oh, man, if the Reds can go get starting pitching. The Reds held the Brewers to 1 run in 3 straight games or back-to-back games, wherever it was, and they lost all 3 of them. You can go get all the great starting pitching in the world. You held the Brewers to 1 run in multiple games and lost all of those. Like, that's just insane to me. And that's what we're dealing with here. I had a feeling that this was going to happen. I didn't think they were going to get swept, but I had a feeling that a slump was on its way. They were riding too high, playing above their means, if you will. I mean, there's way too many rookies in this lineup, one of the worst rotations in baseball. A manager that I've been iffy on, that I've been high on this year, but he had a quote over the weekend that I'm not a fan of, and maybe I'm overblowing it a little bit, but that's what I do when the teams I love, start to break my heart a little bit, and that's what's happening, and I think Reds fans are feeling it as well. So the bottom line is do we panic?
What was the quote?
Do we panic? Oh, the David Bell quote? I'll get to that here in a second. No, you're good. I'll get to this in a second. But do we panic, Reds fans? What's happening here? What's going on? David Shaw sent a message to me over the weekend saying, do we start doubting Ellie De La Cruz now? First of all, this guy's played over 30 games, was hitting 320 something, knocking the ball to the ballpark. It's a steel machine. Shaw, no, now is definitely not the time to give up or start questioning Ellie De La Cruz. No, absolutely not. Look, if Reds fans can cheer Joey Votto hitting 147. I damn sure am not going to allow people to start questioning Ellie De La Cruz hitting 297. All right, I'm just not. That was a sad bell. That was
No, I was scooting it closer because I was ready for it. That wasn't a ding. You didn't mention his age, but I'm ready.
Well, speaking of sad bell, okay, here's the problem I have with David Bell. So David Bell was questioned over the weekend about like kind of the slump coming out. The only thing, like, remember I told you I want to do a segment called what they should have said, or what no, people always say, well, what else are you going to say? What else are you going to say? This would be a perfect quote for this, okay? But David Bell was asked about the slump and the Reds just not hitting the ball. They're not scoring runs, and this isn't the same team that we saw in the first half of the season. The problem I have with David Bell is, this is his quote, Kev. It goes back to looking at these 3 games, their ability to execute pitches, talking about the Brewers. They have really good pitching. There's no question about that. We play them a lot. These games have stood out with their ability to make pitches. Typically, I watch on the side and see the video and you get opportunities to do damage on pitches they leave over the middle of the plate. Here's the quote that bothered me. He goes, we haven't had a lot of those types of pitches. We can't try to do too much, and we have to stay with it. Take what they give us. They haven't given us a lot. What? Don't try to do too much. Take what they give us. They haven't given us a lot. That is the biggest load of fill in the blank. In what sport? In the history of sports? When has it been about, well, we just got to wait to see what they give us? When has it? The Reds are the most aggressive team in the first half of the season. They lead all of baseball in steals. That's what they do. They didn't wait they went out and took it. You have Ellie De La Cruz stealing home with the ball in the pitcher's hand. He didn't wait. He took it. That's what the Reds have to do. You have to go take it. You have to sit there and be the aggressor. How can you be the manager of a team that's one of the most aggressive teams in baseball and say, well, they just didn't give us a whole lot this week? What? Is that what good hitting is, Kev? Is good hitting bad pitching?
No.
Does that quote make it sound like
that's something you kind of hear more in football? Take what they give you. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're playing zone or underneath, you throw underneath passes and things like that. If they play your man coverage, you take shots over the top. That sounds more like a football quote. So I would question that.
So that's my problem. When he says things like, well, we don't want to do too much. I want you to do a lot. That's we haven't had a lot of those types. We can't try to do too much, and we have to stay with it. So you have to stay with the approach that has led to you being shut out in 3 straight games, 28 innings of being shut out when you have Edwin think again, Ellie De La Cruz. All right. I know Jonathan India is in a slump, but you have Tyler Stevenson. You obviously have Matt McClain. You have so many great hitters in this lineup. And they got to the 50-win mark. They got to being atop the NL Central. They got to being in the hunt for the wild card because they didn't wait for stuff to come to them. They went out and took it. When you're a team full of rookies, you're expected to just sit back and just kind of go through the rookie bumps and just whatever. But this team has made they've made a successful run to start the season based on being the aggressors, going out and taking it, doing what they need to do to go win ball games. And I'm sorry, but if we head into tonight with the debut of Encarnacion-Strand and the mindset is, well, guys, don't try to do too much. Don't be aggressive. Don't swing at a pitch unless they throw it right down the middle. Do you think that so David Bell's mindset is, okay, we're not trying to hit the ball well. We're just trying to hit good pitches down the middle. Every pitcher is going to try to throw you stuff that you cannot hit, and you have to be aggressive. You have to sometimes hit balls outside of the strike zone. You have to be aggressive. Look, I'm not panicking. I'm more annoyed with David Bell's quote than I am about being swept by the Brewers coming out of the All-Star break. Because the reality is, everything that we talk about, everything that's exciting about this team is also why they should not be winning. You shouldn't have 5 rookies in the lineup and even be sniffing the division. And that's what they're doing. You should not. You should not have a guy making a debut. You should not have a guy making a debut 30 games ago, and all of a sudden there's drama because he's not in the All-Star game. You played 1 month and you wanted in the All-Star game. That's how good Ellie has been. And that just doesn't happen. Where a rookie comes in, plays 30 games, and has everyone furious because he's not in the All-Star game because he didn't play enough games, bottom line. But, like, this is a good problem to have. I'm not down on this Reds team at all. They can take 2 or 3 against the Giants, or they can take 3 or 4 against the Giants, or split 2-2. Arizona's still in town. I'm not down yet. I'm not freaking out yet. In fact, that's why having a game lead over the Brewers out of the All-Star break, that's what put them in position to have this little bit of wiggle room here to where if you were going to have a slump, it's much better to have a slump after having a 1-game lead because you can get it back. They can get this back. They can win the next 2, and all of a sudden they're right. The Brewers can stumble a little bit. The Brewers seem to play their best baseball against the Reds. I don't know what it is. It's a matchup thing. It's not like when they talk about the Brewers pitching, Kev, a lot of their pitchers have ERAs like over 4. Like, it's not like there's a great pitching team either. So at the end of the day, Reds fans, relax. Season's over. That's it. No, it's not over. It just got interesting. It's interesting now. And I love it. When's the last time you were pissed off about a Reds game in July? Half of you forgot the Reds even played in July. And that's where we're at. Meaningful baseball in July. This is a meaningful series. I hope we don't start to see people give up on the Reds because they got swept by the Brewers. So be it. Good series for the Brewers. It's a matchup thing, and that could come back to hurt the Reds when it's all said and done. If this is going to be a neck-and-neck race for the NL for the NL Central, because if it ends up being a tiebreaker situation, the Brewers are going to run away with that. So for right now, don't freak out. You drop 3 or 4 to the Giants and drop 2 or 3 to the Diamondbacks. I'll panic on Friday. It's Monday. Got new golf clubs. I'm in a good mood. I ain't panicking about nothing. All right, 518-1410, 518-1410. I have a couple minutes to take some calls. We got Nick Kirby joining us 10 minutes from now at Chatterbox Sports. Does a great job with the post-game show for the Cincinnati Reds. A lot of big names on that little network now, including the former voice of the Reds, Tom Brenneman. So it's pretty cool seeing the names that pop up on that. And Nick does a tremendous job. So we'll chat with him coming up here shortly to talk about the impact of the debut tonight of Encarnacion-Strand. But let's go to Shaw. Shaw, thanks for holding. What up, man?
How you doing, bud?
Good. Hold on. That was rude. How are you, Shaw?
I'm great. On the David Bell thing, I'm with you that on normal basis that I don't like David Bell's managerial style, and I don't like anything he does normally. But I think you're taking his quote in a way out of context. I don't think he's saying take a lackluster approach at the plate. I don't think he's not saying be aggressive. What I think he's trying to say is don't try to do too much. Don't go outside yourself and try to do things that we haven't been doing for the last 2 months, and stay within yourself and stay the course, and this will work out. If we start trying to do things outside the box and trying to do things and trying to press and trying to push and try to do more than what we are able to do, this can go from a 3-4 game little stretch here where it was not the way the Reds wanted it to go, to where it could turn into a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then you're going to look up and you're going to be too far back and you're not going to be able to make any in grounds to come back at all. I think it was kind of a message to Ellie in a way, especially after going 0 for 12 with 5 strikeouts and just not looking good at the plate at all this past weekend. That's why I asked, is it still too early to be questioning the young kid? And I understand he does everything out in the field and he's got a great arm and he's faster than lightning, and I get all that, but he started hotter than a box of matches and he's cooling off faster than what India is doing, and everybody wants to crack on him, but we might want to look at the 4 spot too just a little bit. I don't know.
We're way too early. I mean, we get to the end of this week and this is still happening, we can have that conversation. But I mean, we're talking about 33 games and he played 30 games of perfect baseball, 3 bad. And I'm not going to take 3 bad games over 30 good games. And I'm also more forgiving of rookies having these types of ups and downs moments. I'm not forgiving of 40-year-old veteran players having those types of moments.
Oh yeah. Yes, I mean, okay. Jeff Brantley said it early on. Barry Larkin said it early on. With his speed, he's never going to go in elongated slumps. With his speed, it's just never going to happen. My point to you, though, is look at early on and what a lot of his hits were, how they were coming. Yes, he had his line drive tape measure shots, and he had the cycle game, and he's hit his triples, he's hit his doubles. A lot of his hits are, I'm rolling over the top of it. I barely got a piece of it, but my speed carried me through to get first base. And I understand we may need to judge him on a different basis. I get that. I understand that. But typically when you're rolling over the ball, that means you're pulling off of it. Now, what are they getting him out on a routine basis? up and in and low and away, because they know he's rolling over it because he's trying to turn and burn and crush. And anybody that knows anything about baseball, you go slow away or hard up and in when a guy who all he's trying to do is turn and rip. So now it's on him to make the adjustment of staying focused to the middle of the field, hitting more to the right side of the field, and carrying on to the middle of the field. And I understand the 33 game part of it, but there are signs, just like there were signs defensively for the Reds, overthrowing the cutoff man, over not throwing behind runners, yada, yada, yada. That's, for the last week, a lot of things that were signs showing ahead of the last couple weeks before the All-Star break, they reared their ugly head nastily against the Brewers, and the Brewers took advantage of a lot of those.
So
mistakes.
3 games of bad baseball erases the first 47 games or 50 games of good baseball.
It erases everything. I'm not saying it erases anything.
But you are. You're saying it reared its ugly head, and this is who they are now.
No, that. Again, you love to take things I say out of just blow it out of proportion.
I'm not. I'm repeating it back to you, and I'm just trying to clarify.
I'm not saying it's done, it's over with. Ellie's the worst player in history, and the Reds are done, and they're going to finish 85 games.
Then what are you saying? I don't know why we should be concerned. It's 3 games of a 162-game season.
It's more than
you put more stock into 3 bad games. That, like, if he had 3 great games, you're like, well, I don't know. There's 3 bad games coming. How come when 3 bad games are here, you don't say, well, there's 3 good games coming? That's all I needed to hear. All right, 518-1410. Shaw, the only reason I dropped you, not because I'm rude. I am rude. We just got a guest coming up. And you paused and you gave me an opportunity. Never pause, right, Kev? Don't give me the opportunity.
No hezzies.
Don't. If you ball fake, I'm stripping that ball.
Oh, quick hands.
Very quick hands.
Okay.
I mean, I'm 5'5". My hand's always like belt level. You show that ball, it's mine.
Swipe. Swipe up, though. Swipe up. Swipe down. Foul.
All right, let's continue talking a little Reds. Nick Kirby, Chatterbox Sports. We're going to hang out with him when we come back. Let's find out if 3 bad games means Ellie De La Cruz is horrible, like our guy Shaw just tried to say. No. Nick Kirby joins us next, folks. We'll be right back. Let's continue talking some Red.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
Want to feed your family without breaking the bank? Take a trip to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up a 16-piece family meal at a great price. With 16 pieces of our classic honey-dipped, hand-breaded Famous Recipe Chicken, 4 craveable large sides, and 8 fluffy biscuits. It's affordable eats done right. Treat your crowd to the best for less with the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken 16-piece family meal. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that is experienced working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sports, sports medicine, strength and conditioning, and more at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
Welcome to Rap Stories, a show where I get the background stories on some of my favorite rap albums by the artists who made them.
I was like, Tracy, if I really need that $100. After Rule 336, I felt like I knew what I was doing in the studio.
Somebody said everything you did was in one take.
Who said that?
And you had Bobby Brown, you had Dallas Austin. Them were the days where we had real celebrities in Atlanta, Georgia.
You know where you come from. You'll always know where you're going.
I'm your host, David Dennis Jr., and we will see you soon.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I'm looking for fuel injector cleaner.
Right now, buy a bottle of Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner and get one free. Only at AutoZone.
Will it also help with my mileage?
Get everything you need to restore your performance in MPGs.
Get in the zone.
Wait, is it good for trucks too?
Whatever vehicle you have, you can find the right products and parts at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Folks, you won't find old Roy at Homestead Feed and Supply. We carry raw-coated Canidae, a new product. Less in, less out. Best breed, an Ohio company. Blue Buffalo and other premium dog foods. Because you love your dog, Homestead Feed and Supply, 1833 North Dayton, Lakeview Road. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kenner and Cav live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Reds Giants, 7:10 first pitch tonight, 6:40 the pregame. That's when all the coverage begins right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. All right, 518-1410. We appreciate the calls that we've taken so far. We'll get to more of them coming up. Shaw, if you want to call back in so I can hang up with you, I'll hang up on you. I'll be glad to do that again. But no, nonetheless, we'll get back into that in a moment. Excited to bring on our next guest, Nick Kirby, Chatterbox Sports, hanging out with us. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Justin, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, so the Reds do remember how to lose ball games. That's, it has some people concerned, right? I mean, look, this is still a 50-win team. It's still a team that was atop the division heading into the All-Star break. They've stubbed their toe for the first time in a long time, and I'm not panicking. I'm not freaking out. I'm more excited about how a young team like this responds to adversity. Where are you with how this? What's your vibe about this team right now after this 3-game losing streak? We'll get into the call up of Strand in a moment, but I'm most fascinated, Nick, by how this team's going to respond after getting swept like this. Because since Ellie's been called up, they haven't experienced a whole lot of losing, and it's just been the sky's the limit. How do you feel about this team right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a really tough series against the Brewers. It was a big series, crucial in your division race. It certainly stings in the short term. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it's okay to be a little bit concerned, but I think you also have to have some perspective. I was thinking today, if I had tried telling someone back in January that on July 17th, the Reds would be 50-44, Ellie De La Cruz, Matt McClain, Andrew Abbott would have all made their big league debuts and had very successful starts to their career. Spencer Steer, has been as good as you possibly could imagine. And you're already getting Christian Encarnacion-Strand up. I think a lot of people would have said, you're really drinking the Kool-Aid. You're out of your mind. That's all not going to happen. So, I mean, it's disappointing, but at the same time, just how far the Reds have come in such a short time, I think we need some perspective on that. They have answered the losing streaks all year. I know they haven't had as much since Ellie's been up. Obviously, they were unstoppable really before this Brewers skid the last 6 games. But I mean, this team that earlier in the year, before they got a lot of guys, they lost 4 in a row to the Pirates in Pittsburgh, and that felt like, that's the end. And what do? They turn around and swept the Texas Rangers, who I think had the second best record in baseball at the time. So we'll see what happens. I like the way he said it. It's a good challenge for this young team.
what is it about the Brewers, Nick? Because it's not like they had success against the Brewers in the first half, and then all of a sudden they just forgot how to beat the Brewers coming out. This has kind of been a matchup thing. I mean, even when they were playing good baseball, I think back when they had taken 2 or 3 from the Red Sox, and they were like, they were winning on the road. They beat the Cardinals, and then they get home, and then they drop 3 or 4 against the Brewers the first time around, and then they're hot again. They take them on in the last series before the end of the All-Star or the first half of the season. They drop 2 or 3 there, and then they get swept coming out. They're playing great baseball against the Dodgers, against some of the top teams in baseball. But what is it about this Brewers team in your eyes that just seems to be a matchup issue for them? Because the problem is they got 3 more with them at the end of July. And if this is a neck and neck race coming down for the division at the end, there's not going to be a whole lot of tiebreaker situations favoring the Reds.
Yeah, I think whenever you have a 6-game skid like they had going 1-5 and your offense performing as poorly as it did, it can't really just point to one thing that was the reason for that. I think you start off, you got to tip your hat to the Brewers. Devin Williams at the end of the game is as good as it gets. That guy's just incredible. Burns and Peralta on Friday and Saturday. Those guys both had really tough starts to the year, but they're not that bad of pitchers, so they were kind of due to have some good starts. And then you have a young team that hasn't really slumped, that probably is going to slump at some point. You have a lot of players, probably half the roster offensively, Justin, that's never had an all-star break. And then it's their first time coming back after several days off. I think it was so many factors. And, man, the one that stings the most was just the Sunday game, because Ben Lively was pitching so well. And then, of course, he gets cramped and the Reds should have scored more than 3 runs, but they still probably had a chance to win with only scoring 3 runs if maybe Lively could have given them another inning or 2. So I think it's just a combination of that. It wouldn't shock me if the Reds went to Milwaukee and win 2 or 3 later in the month, and we're like, how did that happen, right? That's just sometimes baseball is just a really goofy game over 162 games, and there's a lot of things that happen that it's really you can't explain why or how it happened. Like, I don't think the Reds played the Texas Rangers 10 times and win 10 games, right? So I don't know. Sometimes just some real randomness involved.
No kidding, especially as we're getting closer and closer to the trade deadline. And we as a whole keep thinking, man, just get better starting pitching and look out. Well, you look at what the struggles against the Brewers, Nick. I mean, you hold the Brewers to 1 run in the final game of the 3-game series on the road before the break. Well, hold them to 1 run, you lose 1-0. Hold them to 1 run and 3 runs coming out of the All-Star break, you lose 1-0, 3-0. So it's like, look, I'm not overreacted to this, but you're right. Sometimes there are, especially in a 162-game season, there are small sample size of outcomes in games where you're like, I can't explain that. And that's what's ironic about all of this. So as we turn the page now, Nick, and it's a different series. Again, another series against a team that they're going to be fighting with for the playoffs, whether it's the division in the Brewers and the NL Central or the wild card right now. It's a stacked lineup there when you have San Francisco, you have Arizona. They got the Dodgers coming up around the corner as well to close out the month. It's a big series. Nick, I think the Reds have done a good job at times throughout the season when there's been kind of a slump or they need a spark. They've used these call-ups. I don't know if that's why they do it necessarily, but they've used the call-ups to kind of spark some energy. There was some energy that was sparked up with McClain. We obviously know what happened with Ellie. This is a moment where they're desperately looking for a spark, if you will, especially in this lineup. We're going to see the debut of Strand tonight. We've seen some impressive debuts from McClain and Ellie. Where are you at right now with what to expect, with what a difference this guy's going to make, making his Reds debut tonight in Cincinnati?
Well, the year of the rookie, I think this is probably the Reds' last bullet in the chamber. I know there's still Connor Phillips, there's still Noelvi Marte. They're probably more next year guys. Maybe they make a cameo this year, but this is the last one, so use them wisely. But no, Christian Encarnacion-Strand, 331, 20 home runs, 21 doubles, 2 triples in 67 games. It just I can't remember a player that has played as well as he did. And there was a realistic reason why it was difficult to find a way to call him up. I can't remember the Reds ever having a situation like that, which is probably the front officers a little bit of credit for building a team that you could do that. The thing I like most about CES is this, Justin. His first 28 games at AAA, he only walked 3 times and he struck out 36 times. So he still produced incredibly well. But if you're trying to be realistic, that's not usually a recipe for success for most players. But he somehow something clicked. He worked on things. Last 39 games, he's walked 30 times and struck out 33 times. So completely different approach at the plate. July, I think has an OPS over 1,100, so he's been on fire too. So look, I mean, I don't think we need to expect this guy to be the savior of the franchise or anything like that, but I don't think you need that. You just need another guy that is dangerous in the lineup. And the Reds are going to have some tough decisions because they're going to have to bench a good player against right-handed pitching unless someone else gets hurt. And so tonight it's Steer. I'm guessing maybe tomorrow it's like India. Next day maybe it's McLean. Maybe they just kind of rotate through. And that's not the worst thing because these are all young players that I think could use time off. None of these guys have played a 162-game season. It's a grind, especially when you get into August. So I guess the time was just right. They kind of waited out, and I'm assuming that CES probably also isn't going to play every single day. He's probably going to get some days off too. But I think they probably just got to the point where look, there's nothing more we can do at AAA. We think getting him up here for his development, because I think that still is a very big factor in the Reds. I don't think they're jumping ship on development, even though they're competing right now. But I think they probably just for his development. Look, we think him playing 4 or 5 times a week is more valuable at the big leagues than playing every day at AAA at this point.
Nick Kirby, Chatterbox Sports, hanging out with us here, Kinner and Kev, live on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 Wing AM. Reds and Giants coming up here later on tonight. We'll see the debut of Christian Encarnacion-Strand. Nick, am I the only one that keeps accidentally calling him Edwin Encarnacion-Strand? I think I've done it 3 times today, so not a good start with that. But CES, as you called him, I think that's a safer route for me to go with that.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that he's only put Encarnacion on the back of the jersey, why can't you just be giving him Edwin's number? Maybe some folks have some of those old jerseys.
Exactly.
Just cycle them. Man, we could have used that around Reds country.
All right, Nick. Let's. You're one of the more positive folks that I follow when it comes to the Reds, and you keep me balanced, so that's a good thing. But I've been very upbeat about this team all year, and I'm not even overreacting. I'm not even really panicking at all about this 3-game skid or 4-game skid, if you will. There's things that we can overlook a little bit because, hey, it's a team full of rookies. There's going to be ups and downs, ebbs and flows. But are there things that you're like, oh man, that's a red flag? Are there red flags? Are there some things that you're seeing that, I know there's some others we could be a little bit more forgiving because of the youth of the roster and stuff, but are there some legit issues that you're seeing that have kind of spearheaded themselves a little bit over the last 4 games?
Not really. The only thing I'm really concerned about is the thing that hasn't looked like a problem the last 4 games. Is the starting pitching. It's just can they hold it together until Green and Lodolo come back or add a pitcher at the deadline. But the last 4 games they've been incredible. They've been the strength of the team. It just goes to show you, man. Baseball, it's got some just incredible ebbs and flows to a season. But I'm not worried about the lineup. I think there's going to be some guys that probably have some significant slumps. I don't know who it'll be. I don't know if Matt McLean's going to have some regression in the second half. The good thing is I just think there's so many guys in this lineup that they're going to be able to avoid the prolonged slump.
Yep.
Obviously, Friday and Saturday were as bad of offensive performance as you possibly could have. I don't think they had a single extra base hit either night. But I just don't see this team as a whole going in some huge slumps for 7, 8, 9, 10 games. I think there's enough guys that can pick them up. Now the Giants, on paper, they're a better pitching staff than the Brewers. So the Reds have got their hands full, especially tonight with Logan Webb, and then in the finale against Alex Cobb, who was an all-star. But the Reds have actually hit good pitching pretty well outside of the Brewers, really, for the most part. So I'm interested to see how they'll respond, and CES certainly can't hurt. Just adding another threat to this lineup, a real threat that pitchers got to be really careful about. You make a mistake to him, he's gonna put you on the other end of a highlight.
Nick, last thing before we let you go, and again, we appreciate your time. I know you're heading to the ballpark, here to see the debut of Encarnacion-Strand. By the way, have you witnessed all of them live? Have they all debuted at home? By the way, yeah, I know Ellie did. Did Matt McLean? Where was that series that he debuted? Was that the Rockies?
Yeah, Matt McLean debuted on the road against
yep.
Colorado. Ellie was at home.
Were you there for Ellie?
No. This is the first one I've got to.
Don't you ruin it, Nick. I'm telling you, if you show up tonight and it's the least impressive of them all, you are to blame. I'm just throwing that out there now.
I had tickets before. This
Fair
was
enough.
announced. So maybe I'll go in the middle there and say you can't fully blame me.
All right. Well, good enough. Hey, last thing on the way out before we let you go. Again, appreciate your time. Trade deadline's coming up. I'm one of those that's like, I'm not expecting a huge move. I would like one, but if not, I do think that maybe the outlook is okay, we're maybe less than a month away of potentially getting Hunter Green back. Nick Lodolo, hopefully getting him back within the next month. I know there's a little bit of questions about his, rehab and all that type of stuff. There are reinforcements coming. Because there's reinforcements coming, do you think that that's going to prevent the Reds from wanting to be extra aggressive at the deadline, or is that more of a reason to be aggressive at the deadline to add and enhance the reinforcements that are coming? What's your gut telling you on what the Reds are going to do at this deadline? For the Reds fans that are anticipating a major move, are they going to be disappointed, or are they going to be, happy and fulfilled? How do you envision this kind of taking shape over the next couple weeks?
I would say it's more likely most Reds fans will probably be disappointed. I think that they're going to look to add. I would be surprised if they don't add a pitcher of some sort, even if it's a reliever, just to kind of add another reliever to the mix. Unless the trade really falls into their lap for one of like the higher end guys, I just don't see the Reds giving up enough prospects for a move like that to move. I don't think the Reds are going to overreact to this incredible season they've had so far. I think that their more long-term outlook is still like their paramount focus right now. But I mean, again, like you never know what can happen at the trade deadline though. Like Trevor Bauer in 2019, I don't think any of us really had him on our radar, right? I don't even think he was getting like national headlines as a guy that would probably be moved. And then that trade just kind of fell in the Reds' lap where they didn't have to actually give up a ton of prospects for him. And obviously that trade worked out really well in 2020. So if something like that happens, that's maybe a possibility. But I don't see the Reds getting in a bidding war like with a team that is more desperate. Like let's say the Phillies are interested in a pitcher. I don't see the Reds outspending prospect-wise a team like that. That's kind of more where I'm at.
All right, good stuff. Nick Kirby, Chatterbox Sports. Tell everyone about where they can find you in your post-game show that you do. You guys do an amazing job. Just kind of share with everyone where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, appreciate the opportunity, Justin. Thanks for having me on. Chatterbox Sports on YouTube, live post-game shows after every single game. We usually go live in the ninth inning. I'll be at the game tonight. My co-host Trace Fry will be at the game tonight. We got two guys. One of your guys, actually, Justin, Shay Neal.
Mr. Shay Neal.
1410 alum is going to be co-hosting with my guy, Clay Stoney. He's been a huge help, kind of helping us be able to do this every day. As you know, me and Trace do have other other obligations in life. But then also Chatterbox Red is available everywhere you get podcasts. So everywhere you get podcasts, Chatterbox Red. Every single day have a show after the game or a podcast the next morning.
Give you guys a lot of credit. You haven't slowed down at all. It's very, it's easy at the beginning of the season when you have that hype coming in. You're all excited for the year to get here, and then you realize, there's 140 of these left. But no, you guys are going strong. So you guys are doing a great job. Appreciate it. Always appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks so much, Justin.
All right. Nick Kirby, Chatterbox Sports, awesome enough to hang out with us. Kinner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM. We'll be right back.
When our hometown auto dealers are doing well, the positive benefits are felt throughout the entire area. In fact, last year alone, car dealers had an economic impact of over $225 billion statewide, and they created over 291,000 jobs in our local communities. A thriving auto dealer brings more customers to our shops, restaurants, and service industries. With new car and truck inventory now back on the lots, we're all driving in the right direction. Alpha Media Dayton salutes the many local car dealers across our great state. It's a great time to buy. So next time you drive past the local car dealer, drop in, take a look. They're not just selling cars. They're fueling our local Dayton economy.
From supporting local food banks to raising money for those in need, our listeners know they can count on 1410 Wing AM to lend a helping hand. Like thousands of AM radio stations across the country, we take seriously our commitment to our listeners and our community. More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio for help and a connection. In addition to the news, information, and entertainment we provide, we would love to hear what you value most about AM radio. Visit wearebroadcasters.com and tell us how you depend on AM.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
Finish your outdoor project with 11% off everything. Beautify and protect your deck, fences, and outdoor wood furniture with Thompson's. Thompson's Water Seal Wood Sealer protects against damage from water and sun and helps maintain wood's natural color that will last for years. Get a gallon of transparent deck and siding wood sealer for $19.97 after 11% rebate at Menards. Good through July 23rd. Savings or mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned, double. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
School on! Save on!
Back to school is on, and Staples has great prices on everything you need for your best year yet. Save on notebooks. Save on headphones and laptops. Save on pens, markers, and all the essentials. And right now at Staples, save up to 60% on select notebooks, markers, and more. School on, save on at Staples, where school savings are always in session. Ends 7/29. Prices may vary in-store and online.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at columbusequipment.com.
Festivals are back in Columbus. There's an event for everyone and every interest. Explore the complete list now at experiencecolumbus.com/festivals.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Kenner and Cav live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. When Nick Kirby brought up that Trevor Bauer trade, I saw you flinch a little. I saw you kind of, there's a tick or something.
Yeah, man. All I can think, you guys come and take Shane Bieber from us, man.
Beaver fever. You know, I have a friend that's a big Guardians fan, and he brought up a good point. Bieber's was one of the best pitchers in baseball for a long time. And remember I think it was like last year when they changed the spider tack, like you couldn't use that.
Yeah.
They did a graphic of his numbers before and after, and they were doing I got to find this graphic because I've been looking for it, but it was a graphic of the pitchers before and after, before when you could use the spider tack, like when you can use all that extra like goop, the numbers of pitchers before and after. And Bieber was at the top. He was the most impact. His stuff fell off more than any other pitcher post tack removal or tack ban, if you will. But interesting nonetheless. Still not a bad pitcher, by the way. I still have a little Bieber fever myself. If the Reds can find a way to get that done, I would not mind at all. So there's that. But interesting nonetheless. I love the deadline coming up. So I've said this a lot, and I say this a lot of times when it comes to sports. So the trade deadline is going to be on August 1st. And then there's a lot of major buzz and headline around trade deadline. Okay. And baseball is doing a tremendous job of making changes that bring attention to their sport. Ratings are up. I saw another graphic today that coming out of the All-Star break, this was the most attended weekend of baseball. As far as every time there's the All-Star break, the first weekend post All-Star break, this was the most attended weekend in baseball in like over 10 years.
Wow.
That's again, everything's clicking right now in baseball. It's pretty exciting when you kind of take a look at it. So with that being said, it's one of those things where baseball's made the right changes. There's more attention, everything's going well. So yeah, for July 14th through 16th, it was the best attended weekend of this season alone. And it was the best weekend attendance immediately after the All-Star game since 2014. So in 9 years, first time in 9 years, the highest attended weekend post All-Star break in 9 years. Five of the last 6 weekends have topped at 1.5 million, a mark that has not been reached in any consecutive weekends from 2018 to 2022. This weekend's average attendance across MLB as a whole, Kev, 34,000. That's the average attendance. When the Reds were losing a lot, they were saying the average was about like 20,000. Go to those games. It wasn't 20,000. I'm just saying, like it was probably less than that. Ugh. So, I mean, but this is a good thing. So I bring this up because this isn't necessarily a baseball change. I would love to see this done in the NBA and the NFL as well. I hate the placement of trade deadlines because on August 1st, there'll be a ton of buzz, a ton of headlines. Teams will make major trades. Then we'll get ramped up. And it's like, all right, the race to the finish line. 2 months is a long time. So the buzz that you create for the race to the playoffs, it's there coming out of the trade deadline for about a week or two. And then we get closer to football season, and then you kind of forget about the playoffs. You forget about what moves were made. You forget about the trades. And I feel like baseball, if you move that trade deadline back to September 1st, because then the trade deadline happens. There's buzz, excitement, media all over the place covering every one of these trades, and then sprint to the finish line. September to October, just that sprint to the finish line to the playoffs. Plus, there are some teams right now that may feel good about where they're at, but big injuries could happen in the last 2 months. They would love to have that trade deadline pushed back. Some teams are kind of hesitant. Like the Reds are hesitant to make a move that could impact their long-term future, giving up a top prospect to go get a pitcher that, oh man, 2 weeks after the deadline gets hurt, and now in a month and a half, you're still having the same needs that you did before. Now, there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of things that can happen and, you can't really prepare for. But to me, forget about the team scenarios. To me, I think it's an interest standpoint. You make a big trade, and now you have 4 weeks to maximize that trade going into the playoffs. I think that would be a big deal. I think that would keep baseball relevant for the full month of September instead of just the playoff teams. Now more teams that don't have a shot might have a shot because of a big trade that they could make. I wish they would move the deadline to September 1st. I hate that it's August 1st and you still have 2 long months of the season left. That's where I'm at with that. I would love to see them move it back. Make the trades, and then you have a month to capitalize on those trades heading into the playoffs.
You know what they'll say? They'll say, well, we need more time to get adjusted to the new setting, new league. If you're going from the AL to the NL, all that type of stuff, that's what they'll say. I don't necessarily disagree. My only rebuttal would be football is king. I'm not sure what you can do or anybody can do once Ohio State kicks off, once the NFL kicks off. I think our mind just shift automatically to football. No matter how good your baseball team is doing, I mean, once that pigskin kicks off, man, people are locked in on it, man. So I'm not sure. I mean, I would like to see it. I'm all for a change. I'm all for change. Just roll the dice, because guess what? If you don't get the return on your investment, meaning more eyeballs and meaning more buzz about it, you can always move it back.
Yep. And the other thing is, too, how many teams that have like legitimate pitchers and position players, all these skill players, and then they end up getting hurt. And it's like you give yourself more of a window to make a move if you need to fill a position. So Troy, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Is it Dog or Dag? Either way, if I pronounce your name, I just want to make sure I get it right. But Troy brings up a good point. If you trade for a rental, you only get them for a month, not 2. Why do that trade? Troy, keep in mind, the rental players you're talking about, you're renting them for the playoffs. I would actually think that more teams would be willing to trade for a rental with less time to have the rental. And here's why. If I have him for 2 months, I'm sitting on, I'm just nervous that he gets hurt in the next 2 months. If I have him for a month, that's one less month I have to worry about him getting hurt, because you're getting him for the playoffs. If I can get a guy for just the month of imagine if you could do a trade where, hey, the season's done, it's a free for all, go load up your rosters and go for that. Will never happen. That would be kind of silly. But my point is I think, guys, if you could have a guy for the least amount of time in the regular season while still making an impact, but having an extra bat, an extra pitcher, a big time player to have in the postseason. I know what you're saying, but I actually think that this would push teams to do it even more, because now you're even closer to the playoffs. Now that you're even closer to that player pushing you over the edge. And ultimately, it's not just about getting a guy that's going to push you into the playoffs. It's about a guy that's going to make an impact for you in the playoffs. And I think that would be key. Imagine if the Reds were competitive the year that they got Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer was a move that was made for the next year. When they got him at the deadline in 19, that was a move that was made for 2020. But imagine if they were in contention and they got Trevor Bauer. Now, not only is he going to help you get into the playoffs, that's your ace heading into the playoffs. Like, that's why it's a big deal. That's why, to me, I would love it if they would move it. It's not broken. Baseball's fixed a lot, so I'm not going to pile on, but that would be one move I would be really pushing for baseball to change. Kind of like the same thing in the NFL, too. The deadline seems pointless in week 8. How many times we had in the final 2 months of the NFL season where, like, quarterbacks are hurt, this guy's injured and stuff, and the trade deadline's already passed, so you're just SOL. I think the NFL, which if it's not broke, don't fix, this could only enhance the playoffs, because I think you lose a quarterback in the final couple weeks of the season. If you could make a trade in week 15, I would move the deadline to week 14, heading into the final month as well. Same thing, final month. You lose a quarterback for the rest of the season after week 8. Now you got to go through the next 2 or 3 months with no quarterback, and you lose all hope. But, man, if you can make a big splash at the deadline, who knows? But I would love the trade deadline move back there, too. Do you like the NBA's trade deadline?
I like the NBA's trade deadline. It's like, it's not in the middle, but you know what I mean? It's like still in the season. You can still got runway to the playoffs and things like that. But I'm trying to think, in the NFL, when is the last in-season trade that's made a big splash? The only one I can really think of is Christian McCaffrey. I can't think of anybody else.
That's a good point. I'm typing this in. NFL in-season trades. I'd like to see which one comes up. But you're right. The only one I could think of is that. But that's the point, too. The reason I don't think those matter as much is because even when you do make a trade, I mean, it's one of those where teams aren't going to give up the farm to make a trade because there's so much of the season left. Some teams are out of it, so they're not desperate enough to make a trade. But imagine if you feel like your season's slipping away, and, man, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is hurt. We have to find a way to give Joe Burrow somebody. We have too good a team right now, but, man, we got to get somebody. But it's week 8. Well, we have a lot of time for them to come back. No, I've moved that deadline back. Let them have time to kind of fix it a bit. But you're right, that the biggest impact trade as far as in season for the NFL, that has to be him. And
I can't think of anybody else. Let me Google myself.
Randy Moss to the Vikings in 2010. I'm seeing one that's come in here, but what did that? I don't remember where the Vikings were.
They were bad. It was more like of a homecoming. And I believe after that, he ended up signing was it the Titans he went to after that, or did he go to the Titans?
He did go to the Titans at one point. Because I saw a graphic today that said, for DeAndre Hopkins' career goes to die. And it was a picture of all these wide receivers like Julio Jones and others. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, all these pictures like of these in-season trades are like, they're so old. Ding, hit the bell. It shows you that there's not a whole lot you can go back to. Herschel Walker traded the Vikings in 89 in the middle of the season.
Wow.
That was the year I was born.
Oh, yeah, because he went from the Cowboys there, and they basically got what? Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin, that whole group from that. Yeah.
Best in-season NFL trades. Yeah. Because it talks about how there was a time when in-season trades were as rare as a hushed crowd at CenturyLink Field. I mean, but now it's more common than you think. But Amari Cooper, that's a good one. That was not to the Browns, obviously. That was to the Cowboys.
Oh, from the Raiders to the Cowboys. Okay.
Yep. And he had huge games early on. Like, that was a big deal. In fact, he made a bigger impact in Dallas than I thought he would. I wasn't a big Amari Cooper fan at the beginning. I was like, It's like, I see it, but it's the Raiders. I don't trust it. But he comes to Dallas and just explodes. So that's a good one, Troy. And me and Troy usually don't get along.
Look at you guys.
I'm just saying. But no, Troy, others. By the way, the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, ESPN Dayton YouTube channel. Chime in. Shaw, you're allowed to talk again. I'll let you know. But in the chat section, what are some of the biggest in-season trades, especially in the NFL, that matter? Like, by the way, the Lakers got to the Western Conference Finals because of their trade deadline.
Yeah.
They were not making the playoffs if they didn't even make any trades at that. So that's from the NBA perspective. I don't mind the NBA's. I feel like after the Lakers made that move, it was a month and a half, and it felt like a sprint to the finish line. I don't feel like that in Major League Baseball. I don't feel like that in the NFL. The NFL, you forget that, the trade deadline, by the time you get to the playoffs, that trade deadline seemed like last offseason. Like, that's how far back it goes. I would just move them up as far as that goes. But thoughts on that, 518-1410. Give us a call, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Would you move the trade deadline back? Do you like the trade deadline August 1st? You have all of August, all of September. I hate that. Move it, in my opinion, move it to September, for September 1st. Make those trades, and then, my gosh, between the excitement of the trades and the big players to new teams, and then the fact that you only have 4 weeks, that now increases the urgency. Everyone's going to be tuning into every game after that. I feel like that would have a huge impact. 518-1410, give us a call. Let's get your take on the other side. Kinner and Cap, 1410, Wing AM.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Forecast calling for a chance of thunderstorms and 62 tonight. Mostly sunny, 84 Tuesday. And Wednesday showers are likely a high of 84. I'm Rick Shrimp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Where can you make the whole family happy for less? At Bob Evans. Find over 30 breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for $8.99 or less.
Make memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio State Fair, July 26th through August 6th. Experience your favorite fair traditions like the Butter Cow, Smoky Bear, the Sky Glider, and livestock animals. Enjoy delicious food, exhilarating rides, shopping, arts, exciting entertainment, live music, education, hands-on activities, and so much more. Get tickets to visit the Ohio State Fair, July 26th through August 6th at ohiostatefair.com.
Summer rib season is back, baby, at Frickers. Join us for the perfect pairing of frickin' chicken chunks and baby back ribs together all summer long for only $14.99. Bring the whole family as kids 10 and under eat free from the kids menu all day, every day. Spend time with the family. Enjoy frickin' chicken chunks and baby back ribs all summer long for only $14.99. And kids 10 and under eat free only at the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things. Like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. To find a store near you, go to metalsupermarkets.com.
I'll take you dancing. ABC Wednesday. It's CMA Fest's 50th anniversary. I could not be more excited. With performances by Luke Bryan, Keith Urban, Harley Pierce, Luke Combs, Shelley Roll, and more. Plus summer's hottest collaborations. Cody Johnson and Reba McEntire, Miranda Lambert and Avril Lavigne. Come on! Dierks Bentley, Elle King, and Lainey Wilson host. CMA Fest! Wednesday on ABC and stream next day on Hulu.
By now, you should know Audio Etc. has all the same sales and deals on TVs and projectors as everyone else. But did you know we also have some of the world's best hi-fi? Hi, this is Kirby from Audio Etc. And we do have some of the best home theater high-fidelity gear on the planet. Not only do we have your favorite brands like Clip speakers and SVS subwoofers, but audiophile greats from Bowers & Wilkins, Kef, NAD, Marantz, Cambridge, Mark Levinson, and plenty of vinyl and tube gear. Plus exotics you only see in the magazines. Stop by today and visit Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom and see and audition the best audio and video has to offer. While you're in, check out our huge selection of pre-owned vintage gear. A great way to afford great gear otherwise out of reach, or revisit old classics. Audio Etc. Sound advice you can trust. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon in Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
There's more to imagine when we listen on Audible. Spark your imagination with the best selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals around. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
Jeff Graham.
Trotwood's coach, okay.
Trotwood, yeah. Trotwood coach Jefferson County. And I always, I'm supposed to get out there later in the springtime. I'm going to come see him later in the spring. But I used to spend a lot of time when we played together at the Jets in Dayton, Ohio with him. I'm familiar with Bob Evans, as I always tease him. But man, only good food place y'all got out there. Bob Evans.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
YouTube gonna be mad at me.
Yeah. Strike.
It's all right. Ask for forgiveness. We are back. Kenner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM. All right, good stuff here. We'll get to the Reds lineup in a moment. A major change in the lineup that has a lot of people talking right now. And we're not talking about Edwin. I did it again. I'm done. I'm going to go home. You know what? It's been a good day, but I got tea time. And
we done here.
Yeah. Christian Encarnacion-Strand. Folks, I keep calling him Edwin. I don't know. I mean, I do know why, Edwin Encarnacion, but like every time I see Encarnacion, I always just say Edwin. But nonetheless, Christian Encarnacion-Strand in the Reds lineup tonight. That's not the big shocker that has Reds fans talking right now. Some of you know what I'm talking about. I see some of you talking about it already in the comment section. We'll get to that coming up in a moment. But I wanted to throw a couple things Kev's way and kind of get his thoughts. Bobby Carpenter just tweeted this out, Kev, former Buckeye, the beginning of a beautiful marriage. And it was a quote tweet of Brett McMurphy. And a quote, again, with all the SEC media days and everything going on, the Big Ten's here in a few weeks or next week. But Texas A&M's Jimbo Fisher was asked if if offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino will call plays. Jimbo said, "I'm not going to get into that. Bobby was hired for a reason. Tremendous guy, tremendous football mind. Hopefully he'll call the game and have suggestions." But yes, we're already seeing a battle, a clash right there. That's an interesting duo there, Petrino and Fisher there. Big, a lot of pressure on now Texas A&M and Fisher with all the hype over the last couple of years, especially.
Absolutely. I mean, from those comments alone from Jimbo, it sounds like that was a university hire from the athletic department to hire him because
coach in waiting.
Yeah, like, I mean, look, people can say what they want about Bobby Petrino, like his off the field, things that he was, doing, spending money and using credit cards and motorcycle crashes and mistresses and all that type of stuff. There's no doubt about that. That's, morally wrong. But he has developed a lot of good quarterbacks. You may have heard of one, Lamar Jackson, a guy that Jimbo Fisher said, "Hey, we want you to play free safety at Florida State." And he was able to develop Lamar Jackson into a first round pick and get him drafted and all that type of stuff. So you don't bring in Bobby Petrino not to do what Bobby Petrino does, work with quarterbacks and call plays and things of that nature. So this seems like a fight.
Especially, like I said, that coach in waiting thing. I don't know if that's necessarily what that is, but if things go south, they have some dudes on that staff that can maybe right the ship a little bit. And especially if they're able to play by the rules that they used to play by, but it's a little bit more legal now. I mean, who knows what he could do. Here's another tweet, Dov Kleiman, shifting over to the NFL real quick. This is according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. He was informed by an AFC scout that Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, that this scout, an anonymous scout, my favorite sources, by the way, that this AFC scout told Jeremy Fowler that regarding Aaron Rodgers, "I think everyone is afraid to say that he has declined a little bit." He added, "He's still a great thrower and sees it really well, but he's more like ranked 8 to 12 for me." An AFC scout. My favorite thing is when they quote AFC scouts, if they quote an AFC scout and that anonymous scout is hyping up a player, it's probably or a GM or an anonymous GM or team. It's usually if they're hyping up a player, it's probably the GM of that damn team. And if someone is tearing someone down or not, this isn't tearing someone down, but maybe kind of throwing a little shade, whatever, it's probably not a scout to the Jets. Let's just be clear. But Rodgers had career low yards last season. His 26 touchdowns were also close to his career low, and his 12 interceptions are one shy of his career high. Here's what I get angry about. Now, I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers guy. I find his personality, he drives me crazy. I think he's good for the NFL because of his personality, even though it drives me crazy because he's a character. But why do we do this? Why do we overhype guys that have all the weapons in the world and then discredit guys who don't have weapons? That was not good in Green Bay last year. He did not have good weapons. Some of it's his fault. I'm not mad that he took the money, but when you take the money, you make it very difficult to put pieces around you. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You either get paid really, really well and have limited resources and weapons, or you take less money and have all the weapons, and then you say, well, you're only good because you have weapons. I am not a fan of saying that he has regressed because, he had, look at his yards last year. He took a step back. He lost a top 3 wide receiver in football. Of course, his numbers dropped. Joe Burrow's the number 2 quarterback in the NFL. Look how great his numbers are. He has the best wide receiving core in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is not bad or declining, in my opinion, unless you want to say because of age. And if that's the case, then okay, can't argue with you there. And Joe Burrow's not the greatest thing ever just because his stats are good, because he has the best receivers in the league. That's not me taking a shot. I'm just using that as an example. I hate when we do it. Same thing with Bill Belichick. Oh, I think he loses Tom Brady. I think we were automatically seeing who the real winner was in that. Stop. Tom Brady went to a Buccaneers roster that had every weapon imaginable. You had, obviously the Patriots left with absolutely nobody. Why do we ignore sports logic when it comes to hot takes like this? If you have a reason why you think Aaron Rodgers is not that good, that's okay. But don't use his last year's stats when he had the worst receiving core probably throughout his entire time in Green Bay. I have a problem with that. You want to use age? Oh, maybe you're a scout and you watch it and hey, I see things in his game. But if you're a scout, don't use dumb things like, oh, well, his yards were low. He had low yardage last year. Stop. He was throwing to Randall Cobb. Now that's his fault because he wanted Randall Cobb. But my goodness, your thoughts on this?
He'll be 40 in December. Shouts out to Aaron Rodgers. Welcome to the club. But for me, I think some people view it in a sense of you had this bad year partially because you were unwilling to show up in camp. Mm-hmm. So I think this is the year. If he doesn't show out, if he's not quote unquote Aaron Rodgers of old, the year before last, if he's not that Aaron Rodgers, then I think his criticism would be justified because he's showing up to all the OTAs. He's practicing with Garrett Wilson. He's out there throwing the ball all around with the guys, something that he didn't do with the young receivers for the Green Bay Packers, kind of like pouting and everything like that. So their season last year is 100% on Aaron Rodgers because he was unwilling to be that guy to show up and be a team guy last year. This year, he's doing all those things. He's involved with the team in the offseason activities and all that type of stuff. So this is the year. If he's quote unquote bad again this year or average, then I think it's justified. Right now, it's kind of like TBA.
No, I'm with you 100%. And that led to some of that too. But even if he shows up, that wide receiving unit, Joe Burrow's a hell of a leader. Joe Burrow's at all the offseason camps and stuff. You give him that receiving unit that he had in Green Bay, Joe Burrow could show up to every offseason program and will not even come close to looking like he does with having T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and all that. But if you're showing up to everything, to your point, he would get less flack, I think. He would be given the benefit of the doubt. But when you have all rookies in your receiving core and you're not showing up until training camp and even resisting in training camp, of course, you're not doing yourself any favor.
Right.
So that's better than just saying, well, I think he's taking a step back because his yards were lower last year. Well, yes, when you lose.
He had about, I don't know, maybe 500 yards left on the field with drop passes.
That doesn't help. That does not help. That's for sure. Continuing to go down this. How about this one? The top wide receivers, according to Madden.
Let me see if it
Interesting.
lines up correctly with mine because, mine is the correct list.
So Jamar Chase comes in at 6.
Oh, that's not where I have him.
Terry McLaurin's in the top 10. Me and you did not have Terry McLaurin in our top 10, correct? You didn't.
Correct. I did not.
Okay. Amari Cooper coming in at 10. You did not have Amari in yours.
Not.
I did. Big, me and Madden, No, but Amari Cooper at number 10. AJ Brown at 9. Terry McLaurin 8. DeAndre Hopkins 7. Jamar Chase 6, Cooper Kupp 5, Stephon Diggs. I said the wrong thing there. My bad. Okay, you can make fun of me later. Stephon Diggs at number 4. Shut up, Kev. Number 3 is Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill at number 2, and Justin Jefferson at number 1.
Okay, I'm pretty on point with that. I had Justin Jefferson at 1.
There's a fan base that's a little upset.
Oh, because Jamar is not top 5 and T. Higgins is not in there at all.
Remember who had Jamar at number 6 on his list as well? Just want to throw that out there. And if anyone could remember back to the Kenner top 10 wide receiver list, I believe I had my guy Jamar Chase at number 6 on that list. So, I also had Amari Cooper in there as well in the top 10.
No Mike Evans in the top 10, huh?
No Mike Evans. No Mike Evans. Tyreek Hill at 2, Justin Jefferson 1. Someone missing? Because if they have Terry McLaurin in here, who do we have in there? CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, I think that's who it was. But you had Cooper Kupp, I like at 5. I had Cooper Kupp, I think, at number 2 on mine.
Yeah, you had him
pretty
mistaken.
I had him pretty high, but because you started looking at the average yardage per game, and even in the games he played last year, he was on pace with the year before, but he obviously gets hurt, doesn't play, and all that stuff. But nonetheless, going to be interesting. But no, again, it's list season. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but it is interesting when those come out, like the Madden ratings and stuff. But yeah, Bengals fans getting all upset, getting annoyed.
But you know what was super cool about Madden is throughout the season, they update the rankings.
Yep.
They update things as, hey, man, you ball out of control, you get a boost. You play like crap, you go down.
And Madden gets brought up all the time. Like, I don't know how Cleveland Browns standout wide receiver Amari Cooper spends a lot of time during the offseason playing Madden to gain more football knowledge, defensive schemes. I don't know how many high school football players we have that listen to this program, but here's the deal, folks.
I know one.
Tell your, I'm sure, yeah. The power struggle is real. Let me tell
Go
you.
green, go white.
But that's how you get away with playing video games all the time, kids. Just tell your parents. If you local high school football players, just tell your parents, hey, I want to be like Amari Cooper. I'm trying to get better and more knowledgeable about the game of football. I'm studying my craft by playing Madden. You're welcome.
There you go.
Heard it here first. But when Kyler Murray does it, I guess he's playing. He ain't really playing Madden though. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, he's playing Call of Duty. He's a Call of Duty guy.
Oh yeah. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. But yeah, those list things are always kind of interesting. How about Tennessee, by the way? 100 violations.
Whoo!
And a slap on the wrist. If they got handcuffed, it's not even handcuffs, it's zip ties. They're zip tied together. A lot of folks upset over the weekend about the attempted Friday news dump and stuff. Because after we got off the air that day, this comes out right towards the end of the program. We didn't really get time to spend too much on it. But they have to vacate 11 wins from the 19 and 20 season. And I always laugh at that. That's nothing. I don't care.
Right.
That impacts maybe the program. But do you think that, oh, man, a recruit was going to go there, but they took wins away from 19, and now that's going to have an impact. I mean, taking the scholarships away, that's brutal. But again, I never like these conversations because it's always repeated stuff, regurgitated opinions on it. But until you start punishing those who made the mistake and not the program for people who are no longer there, none of this will ever go away. And now that there's more elements involved with NIL, it's only going to get uglier and more shady and worse than what it was. I roll my eyes at this stuff. I don't really care about it. Buckeye fans are all upset. Oh, Tattoo-gate, look what happened to us. Who cares? Tattoo-gate was pretty silly as well. Shouldn't have lied. Shouldn't have got involved in that as well. Rules are the rules, as I always like to say. But your thoughts on that?
Oh, man, the biggest thing that I took away from it was Darnell Washington, who now plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, went to Georgia, the big tight end. They paid him to come to Tennessee, and he still went to Georgia. I just find it hilarious that people are going to give somebody some money before they actually sign the letter of intent. Like, that's your own fault for being stupid.
That's like a sales guy taking a sales job somewhere while still being employed elsewhere, and then having a sales job at two different places because people just don't communicate. It's pretty wild.
Lack of communication.
I've seen and heard it all. So Adam Rittenberg, full list of Tennessee penalties for 18 level 1 violations and more than 200. Oh man, I didn't realize this. It was more than 200 individual infractions.
Goodness gracious.
So the list is kind of impressive. So they got 5 years probation, okay, a reduction in football scholarships by a total of 28 during the term of probation, including at least 2 scholarships each year. Let me ask you, 2 scholarships each year, is that a big deal?
Yeah, it's a big deal because
like stretching that loan out over time, it's not as big a deal as what it is. You lose 28 scholarships in 4 years. It's a lot different than over 10 years. So they stretch that out. But
yeah, I mean, not that I'm like the police here or anything like that, but like, like 5, like that's damaging, especially like, you talk about like a recruiting class, say you sign in like 25 to 20 guys, you take away 5 from that, and then you mean you're only going to be bringing in 15 new recruits each and every year, and that's not even counting guys that you could possibly be taking in the transfer portal and things like that. So like you start messing with those numbers and guys start going pro early if you're balling out of control, and then you start messing around with numbers, you like, wait a minute, why do we only have 4 scholarship wide receivers? And then you get dudes that used to play, that played corner, that played a little wide receiver in high school, and it's a reason why they're playing corner in college, out there dropping passes left and right. It can catch up with you.
It's kind of funny, get a couple more academic scholarships to kind of fill some of these. It's very simple. Just move the scholarship type over. By the way, just so you know, we only have X amount of scholarships available, athletic scholarships. But hey, we're going to go talk to this old engineering department over here. Hey, we got this nice quarterback. He's interested in engineering. How about could we borrow one of your scholarships on all this?
How's his grades?
Yeah. So, his real grades or the grades we're going to give you? The grades you're going to give us. Those are somehow, for whatever reason, those are always better than the actual grades. All right. According to executives and players and coaches and scouts in the NFL, they ranked the top 10 quarterbacks.
Let me pull up mine.
According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. We'll touch on this on the other side, but Bengals fans will be pretty pleased. But I always like comparing their list compared to our list. So we'll get to that as we come back on the other side. Get to some of your comments. I see, Jalen Ramsey to the Rams would be an in-season trade. Remember a little bit ago, you and I were talking about in-season trades.
Okay, there you go.
So we were talking about the NFL. Yes. Okay, that was one. Okay, yes. David M on YouTube, shout out to you. Thank you. David M also says Lynch from the Bills to Seattle. What year was that? I'm just kind of curious.
I'm not remembering that one.
Yeah. So by the way, if you guys are lost, a little bit ago, I shared that I hate that the trade deadline for Major League Baseball is August 1st, and you still have 2 months. Is that you or me?
Me.
Oh, me. Okay. Is that the go to break? Yeah. 2 months after the deadline of season left. And I feel like you could have more of an impact if you move the trade deadline back to September 1st, because then from then on, it's 4 weeks to the playoffs. It's a sprint to the finish line. After those moves are made, it's, oh man, that, you actually see more position players be traded, Kev, like because of the fact that they have more of an impact on a 4-week stretch than maybe a pitcher who you might get 4 starts out of or 5 starts out of in that little run through there. So nonetheless, so it led to biggest, in-season trades throughout all sports. And we couldn't think of any for football outside of the one you mentioned for the Niners, getting, why am I drawing a blank?
McCaffrey.
Yeah, you see Christian Encarnacion-Strand, Edwin Encarnacion. I mean, we've been fumbling words all left and right today.
Seahawks acquired Marshawn Lynch on October 5th, 2010 from the Buffalo Bills.
Really? In the middle of the season?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the year they went to the Super Bowl?
No, I think they went to the Super Bowl the year after. But
so I'll resist that a little bit, David, because that was that if they traded for him and then he helped kind of push them over. I feel like there's other big trades that happened this past year, and I can't think of them. Someone brought up the botched AJ McCarron trade to the Browns.
Oh man,
because of a fax machine.
Oh, God, fax machine. Goodness gracious. The one I was talking about off the air. This is NBA, but Paul Gasol from the Grizzlies to the Lakers. Lakers go to the finals versus Celtics that year in 2008.
Oh, another good one from our guy David M on YouTube. I agree with this a lot, actually. Emmanuel Sanders. He was traded to the Niners in 19, the year they went to the Super Bowl. They needed a big wideout, and he came in. And, I mean, if you remember, if he's not overthrown, Emmanuel Sanders is going to be a household name in the NFL for decades to come, and he would also be a Super Bowl champion. And that was the intended target. Remember,
he won one with the Broncos.
Not the point, Kevin. The point is he would be a Super Bowl champion with the Niners, Kevin.
With
the
a
Niners.
Real quarterback, Mr. Manning.
You're just jealous because porn star Jimmy,
he's a legend.
He lives the life.
He's a legend, just not at the legendary quarterback status.
Well, let me ask you.
Eyes closed.
Let me ask you. No, never mind. Shayla might be listening. I ain't gonna do that. I'm here to bring.
If I didn't have this, yes.
It's all about the rings.
If I didn't have this, yes.
All right, we'll be right back. Kenner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Here come Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. This Saturday night, Roy's Music Center at the Heights. 19 top 10 hits with Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster.com and the Rose Music Center box office. Don't miss Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Live.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-785-1155. That's 800-785-1155. 800-785-1155.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
School on! Save on!
Back to school is on, and Staples has great prices on everything you need for your best year yet. Save on notebooks. Save on headphones and laptops. Save on pens, markers, and all the essentials. And right now at Staples, save up to 60% on select notebooks, markers, and more. School on, save on at Staples, where school savings are always in session. N729. Prices may vary in-store and online.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
If you speed, there are lots of sounds that you might hear, like the sound of your vehicle crashing. Because eventually, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Here come the Thunderbirds. Experience Dayton's biggest and best summer party at the Centerpoint Energy Dayton Air Show, presented by Kroger, July 22nd and 23rd at Dayton International Airport. This year's show features military and civilian demonstrations, historic aircraft, food and fun, along with hands-on interactive events, including flight and ride experiences. Tickets available while supplies last at DaytonAirShow.com. Get discount general admission tickets at area Kroger stores.
Have you heard about the Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Help Center? We provide legal information, programs, and resources that may be available to you. The Help Center cannot provide legal advice, but we can provide information on a variety of topics, including expungements, protection orders, identity theft, and more. We are out in the community several days a week, and we've recently partnered with the Dayton Metro Library's many locations. Visit courthouse2u.com to learn more. Brought to you by Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, Mike Foley.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that is experienced working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sports, sports medicine, strength and conditioning, and more at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
Millions protect their homes with Generac generators. Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer, has franchise opportunities available. GeneratorFranchise.com.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We appreciate all of our listeners and, of course, our sponsors. In fact, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We take pride in being Dayton's only local afternoon sports talk show right here in the Miami Valley. If you would like to jump in as a sponsor of our show or promote your services within our show, all you have to do is reach out to us directly by texting us at 937-518-1410. Want Kevin and I to endorse your business and services? Just text us. You want to promote an open house, a grand opening, new location, or any other kind of service? Just text us. Bottom line is that we are here to help spread the word and help grow your business. Text us today, 937-518-1410, and we'll give you all of the information that you need to start promoting your business on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
This is probably the best team Jim Harbaugh's put on the field. J.J. McCarthy.
All right, the Reds lineup looks, there's a major change in tonight's lineup, and it is not the addition of the newest Red. After the call-up today for not Edwin Encarnacion, but Christian Encarnacion-Strand will make his Reds debut tonight. He'll join the likes of some of the other top rookies like Matt McClain and Ellie De La Cruz. No Spencer Steer in the lineup tonight. That's one of the major changes. But how about this change? Ellie De La Cruz, to no one's surprise, is in the lineup, and he's batting leadoff. Ellie De La Cruz is batting leadoff, which he has the characteristic. When you think about it, I mean, usually, like, what made Billy Hamilton such a the reason people thought he was like the premier, like a perfect leadoff hitter was because of his ability to run the bases, his speed, right? Well, Encarnacion or Ellie De La Cruz is that on steroids, right? Like, I forgot you can't say steroids when it comes to baseball. But he is that like times a billion because he actually has talent with the bat in his hand, right? So Ellie De La Cruz batting leadoff is actually kind of smart. I don't mind it. It's drastic. People are complaining about it on social media. It's a big change, but it might be enough to spark this a little bit. I don't like Christian Encarnacion-Strand batting at 7. But again, he needs to hit his way up in the order. Right now, no one's safe in this lineup. What I mean by safe is no one is locked into a position or locked in the order. Like, I think that could be tinkered with still, which is why I like Ellie De La Cruz batting first. So Ellie De La Cruz will lead things off, and he'll bat first tonight for your Cincinnati Reds. So he's getting the start. He'll start at third base and bat first. Batting second and in center field will be TJ Friedel. At shortstop and batting third will be Matt McClain. Jake Fraley, he'll bat fourth in right field is where he'll start. Batting fifth and at second base is Jonathan India. Let's see. Batting sixth and at first base is Joey Votto. The designated hitter is where we'll see Christian Encarnacion-Strand debut tonight. Don't have to worry about playing in the field. Just focus on putting the bat on the ball. We saw the picture they posted of him. He's a big dude.
Forearms.
He is. Yeah, he better not. He had like Albert Pujols look to him. He better be knocking that out of the ballpark. But yes, Christian Encarnacion-Strand will bat seventh and get the start at DH. Batting eighth will be Tyler Stevenson, and he'll be catching tonight. And batting ninth will be Will Benson. One more time, your lineup tonight for your Cincinnati Reds. Ellie De La Cruz batting leadoff for the first time in his young and early Reds career. He'll get the start at third. TJ Friedel in center field batting second. Matt McClain at short batting third. Batting fourth in the right field is Jake Fraley. At second base, batting fifth is Jonathan India. Batting sixth and at first base is Joey Votto. Christian Encarnacion-Strand will bat seventh, and he'll get the DH start tonight. Behind the plate and catching will be Tyler Stevenson batting eighth, and batting ninth in left field will be Will Benson. Brandon Williamson will be on the mound as the Reds look to end their 4-game skid, and they got their hands full. They got the Giants. The Giants are right there in the mix of things in the playoff picture, not just within the NL West, but within the wild card as well. They're right there in the mix with the Dodgers and Diamondbacks battling it out for the West, but the Giants right now, they're sitting at the very top of the wild card standings in the National League. Behind them are the Marlins and the Diamondbacks, which is who the Reds have after this 4-game series with the Giants. The Reds also have the Dodgers coming up and another 3-game series with the Brewers. This call-up from Encarnacion-Strand is huge. The Reds have done a very good job of strategically, positioning their call-ups during times where they've kind of faced a slump. Then the Reds kind of forget about the slump because they're so jacked about the momentum and the enthusiasm of the call-up. And hopefully that's the impact that we'll see tonight from Encarnacion-Strand. All right, Kinner and Cab, 1410 Wing AM, Hour 3, coming up next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with